You are now watching The Lone Blown. Blown! Yo, what's poppin' YouTube? Welcome back to The Lone Blown. Thanks so much for tuning in today. And today we're actually going to be going over my winners round 2 against Renzo at the Players Cup 2. So I'm super excited to share this gameplay. It's another PikaRom versus ADP match. And ADP and PikaRom absolutely littered the entire Players Cup 2 metagame. The most played decks for sure. So you're going to see a lot of that while we're going through this series. But I found this match to be super interesting. Just kind of watch out, see exactly how it goes. Really showing the strength of Crushing Hammer in our standard formats. So if you like any of the cards in this video, head over to ptcgeostore.com, plug in code ZLassage5 to save 5% on your next order of codes. You can also find that in the description below. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, which you can just click right here if you like this type of gameplay video. I don't want to waste too much time, so let's jump right into the video. Let's head it in there. So this game I'm playing against Renzo. And Renzo obviously winning their round in the winners brackets. And every single player who's playing in the top 16 global finals is a super strong player. Unfortunately for me, I'm going first here. But my hand doesn't seem that bad. It'd be really nice to get an energy out this turn, if that's a possibility. And I don't really want to bench too many 2 prize card Pokemon. So just kind of checking through here. I'm like, yeah, I want to get a Dedenne, look through the prize cards, see what else is in here. Maybe get the Bolton for next turn, because no matter what, I basically want to use Electrify. Starting with Coco is not bad, but it's also not the absolute greatest of what we're looking for. So, just kind of vibing out, seeing exactly what could exist with a hand like this. And it's honestly not that bad. Like, there's a lot of options in order for me to get this energy. So you can see, no energy, no nothing. I'm just like, I went through 26 cards of my deck, and there is no energy to be found, which makes it a little bit tough. And my opponent's just like, cool, I'm going to get ADP. Zach's turn basically did nothing. So the Crushing Hammer heads is going to be huge to try to bring me back into this game, and I'm still just trying to find energy. Thankfully, I'm able to find an energy here, so I'm at least able to go Bolton to Electrify. If you wait too many turns, ADP will just naturally beat almost any given deck here. So what do we have? We got Electrify, and I'm just like, just thinking. So there's energies on the Mewtwo. I think Mewtwo's the best Pokemon to attack with in this matchup. And my opponent also plays the Crushing Hammers. I'm not sure why my opponent decided Crushing Hammer from the active. It doesn't make sense to me at all. To be honest, it stops an Electrify, but it does not stop me attacking from a Mewtwo. It does not stop me from using Tandem Shock. But they ended up getting double heads, which, again, quite hurts, to be honest. So, Crushing Hammers can absolutely crush decks just out of the competition. And that's something that can very, very well happen. I'm just waiting on what they're going to search for. Games against ADP are usually pretty rapid because they're kind of accelerating the game by 2. My opponent is able here to kind of clog my bench up. To be fair, the Raichu being down is almost the same thing as a Mewtwo. Tandem Shock is the best attack in this matchup. And they're getting off the turn 2 Altered Creation GX. So the pressure is certainly on here for me. And I'm like, at this point, I just need to be able to kind of get something off here. I don't know if I want to... I was debating on it. Do I want to keep the Dedenne GX in my deck so I have it for another turn or anything else like that? But I do have access to a lot of things. I'm like, I just need an energy. Let's just go for the Marnie to try to get the energy. We haven't seen too many energy so far this game. Should be pretty good. And this is really where the game can stick. My whole goal is, let's go Tandem Shock. And if the game's moving a little quick, I did speed it up to 2 times speed. So it can be a little bit more brisk gameplay. But our opponent naturally getting the switch, getting off that Ultimate Ray, we are not able here to kind of like get around it. So it's one of those things where I'm just like, it sucks. My opponent's even able to draw 2 prize cards there. Just kind of jumping into this game, opening it up completely. And I'm like, I kind of have to stick with a huge play. Do I go for that Tag Bolt to try to win the game next turn? And at this point, I'm like, I need to find other cards. Is there anything else that I can do to disrupt my opponents? No reason not to play Chaotic Spell. No reason to do a lot of these things. I'm like, whatever, let's just go Full Blitz. See how Full Blitz goes here. Power up. I have a win in hand next turn. Attach an energy. And I can go Tag Bolt GX, knocking out 2 Pokemon. And you can see I'm hovering here over the Well Played. I just know that it's going to happen, that our opponent just naturally has the boss. So, sucks to get cheesed out of ADP, but let's jump into game 2. See what's going on here. So Renzo's choosing who goes first, and they are choosing to go first here. So starting with PikaRom is obviously one of the worst starts that I could possibly have here. PikaRom is something that I don't naturally want to put down because an Azation can just kind of knock it out. But I do have access to Quick Ball. I do have access to, that being said, a Boltons. I do have access to an Energy. So there's so many things that I just could not get access to last game that will put me in a good position starting here. And getting that Tapu Koko off the top deck is quite fun. So there's the Boltons. And powering it up, I could just go switch. And at this point, I think it's better just to play Marty. My opponent has a massively huge hands. And I'm like, cool, this game's probably over. I got nothing in my hands. So I'm just going to go Electrify. Power up the PikaRom. There's nothing better else to target than the PikaRom. Sucks that the PikaRom's not able to attack against... it can't get a knockout against Azation. But it's not the worst thing that's ever happened. And I'm just kind of vibing. There's the Mawile GX. So the Mawile GX here is absolutely wasted. My opponent was probably waiting for me to have a Dedenne or a Crobat or anything just naturally hiding in my hands. They're probably pretty relieved to know that this hand's rough. And there's a Crushing Hammer. Again, I don't know why my opponent's going after the active. They know I have an energy in my hand. They know I have a switch. It'd be much better to take the energy off the PikaRom. 100% here. And they're just trying to get set up here. In general, there's their energy, and they're not getting off their attack. So you can see, whether or not I even got that Cherish Ball top deck, my opponent clearly made a mistake. Usually want to take the energy off of the bigger Pokemon. And here I had everything enabled in order to do that. So there's a Crushing Hammer. I'm just going to go in for a huge play here, if that's a possibility. And there's the research. Let's just, I don't even know if it's worthwhile for me to play the Crushing Hammer. I was slightly worried about Leon, I think, in the time. And I'm just like, whatever, I'll just play the other Crushing Hammer. This ADP's, even if they get off the Altered Creation, I'm not going to let them get the knockout. I might as well get the Tapu Koko down. And I'm going to use Full Blitz here. Full Blitz grabbing the full 3 energies. So again, you can see that my opponent, if they did not rip the energies, they would they wouldn't have allowed me to use Full Blitz. And I'm debating, do I want to go on the active? Is my opponent going to get a Leon out? Things like that. Like, there's things that you got to keep in mind when it comes to attaching your energies to Pokemon. I'm not too far off from getting a few of these, from getting off a huge Tag Bolt GX or anything like that. But just kind of seeing what our opponent's going to do here. That's all we can do. And it's always that like long awkward pause. It's just like, what is our opponent? What are they thinking of for their game plan? What could they possibly be thinking to do on their side? And here, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious they're just going to use Altered Creation GX. But they're going in with a Quick Ball. Maybe there's something else that they're looking for. Maybe it's a boss orders off the Dedenne, something like that. And they do have the boss orders. I don't know if the Dedenne makes sense there. Like, there's already the boss. What exactly is our opponent trying to search for? And here I'm just like, okay, well, I have the energy in my hand, naturally. And I could either go, like, Team Yell Grunt. There's a few things that I can do. I'm just going to, like, send up the PikaRom. Team Yell. Trying to lift that energy off. And then we're just going to go for the full blitz here. The full blitz is just, I can see through what's in the deck. I mean, it's my only option to attack. I'm not going to go Tag Bolt GX. And I'm just really hoping that my opponent does not have their last Metal Saucer. To me, that's going to be the biggest thing. I do not have a lot of Pokemon on my bench, so Mawile's not going to be the biggest threat here. Will they find the Metal Saucer card? And there's their energy for turn. I mean, I think it's better to play Quick Ball before attaching an energy. You can kind of reconfirm. A lot of this play was early in the morning. So, I mean, I think doing things backwards like that just seems incorrect if you ask me. Because you'd gain much more information anyways. They're getting the Crushing Hammer heads. That sucks. That's going to take off basically my Tag Bolt option. But the fact that they're sending up the Eldegoss means I have something going for me. I'm like, okay, you want to what? We might as well see what's going on in the deck. Grab the Dedenne GX. At least we have some options here. Our opponent still hasn't attacked. And I do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I do have enough energies to knock out the Zacian now. I'm like, okay, could I find a switch? Could I find something else? Probably doesn't even matter. I just get the retreat, and I'm still getting the knockout here with Boltstorm just barely at the 220. But now my opponent cannot knock out anything because they have one Metal Saucer left. Just one Metal Saucer. And they're just going to use ADP as a shield. Again, just giving us an extra turn here, which is huge. And I was just double checking there to see what's available in the deck. I might as well grab a Crobat. And still just like one of those things, like there's not much else to do. I can kind of just trap my opponent up here with the Vikavolt. This is one of the few times in the entire event that I use Vikavolts. They do have more than 6 cards in their hands. So I'm just like, yeah, let's just go for Reset Stamp. And I think I could just keep on going Paralyzing Bolts. I don't think my opponent has an answer against the Paralyzing Bolts to get out of the active spots. And there's the switch. And Boltstorm's going to do enough to get the win. So going into game 3, feeling a little bit more confidence. And just wishing my opponent some before games, just like good luck. I know everyone's nerves are pretty high for an event like this. And I'm just looking at this pretty dreadful start here. You never want to start without a supporter, a draw supporter of anything. I'm like, cool, at least there's a way to draw some more cards. So play towards your outs. I mean, you can see there's a Quick Ball there. Probably no reason for me to even go ahead and play the Quick Ball. But I just have the option of Quick Ball. It's like, do I want to go for Dedenne? And I do actually end up going here for Dedenne. I think it might be better to hold on to the Quick Ball in general. Maybe your opponent would have gone after a Mawile. Maybe our opponent could have done a lot of things. But I'm just trying to get set up here. Not anything crazy out of the ordinary. And that start's actually not too bad. It's a lot better than what it could have been, right? The Speed Lightning energy is saving my butt big time. And yeah, just setting up the bolts in there. I mean, the hand that I have seems pretty strong. I don't know why they would ever even play the Crushing Hammer. To me, I'm very happy that they're playing a Crushing Hammer there. And they're just going to Great Catcher that up. It's actually crazy to me that they play... The Crushing Hammer is literally just to draw extra cards with Crobats. I mean, in a way, you got to think of it like... I'd say the ADP matchup, like, everyone knows going into this that it's unfavored. So I wouldn't necessarily worry too much about it. Maybe it was the correct play. I just think it's kind of crazy. But opponent popping off huge. going for the turn 1 Altered Creation GX out of nowhere. That Crobat was just like infinity, like too good to be true. And I'm just like, I don't know how I really want to do this. I think Dedenne seems like my choice. If I can get off a Tandem Shock in some capacity, that might be huge. I only have the 1 energy though. If I had 2 energies, it'd be a little bit more kind of self-explanatory on what's going on. And I mean, I'm debating, do I want to go in with the Bolton or not? Save the energy. Does it even matter? What else could my opponent have off of that if they've already seen everything? I don't even know if it makes sense for me to do anything else at this point beyond Electrify. So it's weird looking back on these games. Like, I'm just like, oh, I could be doing this. This is exactly how I would play it. And you can see I'm really tempted with the Quick Ball. I'm like, how can I stop my opponent from just like getting anything set up? Can I get a Crushing Hammer? Can I get a something? I don't think it's worthwhile to play the Quick Ball. You can see I'm really struggling with it. I think I just want the Crushing Hammer so badly here. And you can tell that it's just never worth it. Like, it's better to hold on to it. I mean, I guess, again, in this case, I'm just, like, slightly worried on what my opponent can and can't do. But after the turn 1 Altered Creation, it's just huge. There's a Mawile, there's an energy. They naturally just have the switch. They're going to get rid of the Mawile, so I don't need to worry about benching. They even got the Crushing Hammer heads. This is a game where, like, everything's going right for the ADP player. But they did not bring up something else. So that part's really huge. So at this point, I'm just like, okay, switch to Dedenne first and foremost. That seems like the best thing that I possibly can do. Let's get some energies on board because we already have the 2 energies now. And I'm looking through what can I actually do here. And I'm like, I need to draw a lot of cards to make all this stuff happen. So there's the the Electromagnetic Radar. I might as well just discard those 2. And I'm like, maybe I don't need Reset Stamp. It's really hard to choose what cards, like, you need to be very careful on your resources in games like this. So I'm going to hard bench the Raichu, so I'm able to go Tandem Shock this turn. If I can get a free turn against my opponents, it would have been nice to get the Crushing Hammer heads there. I mean, not that I think it matters here, but let's go ahead and go Tandem Shock 160, and hoping my opponent, it just sticks. And they're just going directly into their Intrepid Sword. So at this point, I'm like, oh, okay. All hope isn't lost, right? And there's the Crushing Hammer heads. I might as well take it off the other one. And it's just tough because you don't want to lose the game. Like, maybe I'll just attack with Boltons. Try to get set up and maybe do another Tandem Shock. Bolton's already a Pokemon that's likely going to get knocked out. My opponent already has, they have access to Eldegoss. I mean, I could have played the Research. It's probably one of those things where I'm conserving energies based off. I haven't checked through my prize cards since rewatching and stuff like that. So, I mean, this game's coming down to a close real quick here. Can my opponent get out of this situation or not? I mean, the way that I'm looking at this, I have access to a Lightning Ride GX for knockouts. But they did get the Metal Saucer there, which is huge. Like, they're just, like, absolutely popping off, ready to go. You can see they're just discarding more of their cards. It's actually terribly scary at this point, because as soon as you get out of the winner's brackets, you're 1 win away from doing nothing. But see, there's even the Crushing Hammer heads, which is just absolutely terrifying. So at this point, I'm like, okay, cool. Next plan up, let's send up the Dedenne GX. That gives me room for Tandem Shock. And Crushing Hammer, Crushing Hammer. You can see getting the heads there is huge. I just need to... I probably should have taken away from... I mean, they're just a switch away. It's hard to choose which energies you want to go after. But whatever. We're going Tandem Shock. It is what it is. I mean, at least I think I'm going Tandem Shock. Maybe I'm going Full Blitz here. And I think the reason why I'm going Full Blitz is... Okay, I did end up going Tandem Shock. Because Full Blitz could have been an interesting choice as well. Because I could have gone for the attack the turn after. But we'll see exactly how my opponent goes here. There's the Intrepid Sword. Will they find the energy? Will they find the boss? There's nothing really in deck here at this point. It's like not even worthwhile to go through beyond just like thinning my deck out. And at this point, I'm like, cool. I literally have no outs. I could go Tingly Return maybe. But this is looking like a game that's just like slightly out of reach. I do have access to go for the Lightning Ride GX next turn. If my opponent does not find a boss orders, and they do have the Eldegoss there. So this is going to knock me into the loser's bracket, but that's completely fine. My opponent played a really well-played game. Well, and as much as that game may have been disappointing for me at the moment, it did allow me to go into a bracket that did allow me to eventually win the tournament. Yep, disclaimer, not trying to spoil the event. The event happened over a month ago now at the time of the creation of this video, and I was able to win the Players' Cup too. So watch me battle it out in future videos of the series. I mean, it's one of those things where my deck is bound to lose at some points. I think there's no perfect deck in format. I've even gone since to do some changes for this video, or for this deck that I played in the video. So, I mean, I think at the time the deck was very innovative, very cool. And it's just really cool to look at the games anyway. So, there's going to be more videos in this series. Stay tuned for all that. And again, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We're currently on our road to 1,000 subscribers. So, hooks your boy up with some subs. And if you watch this after, you're like, Zach, how do you have 20 million subscribers? I mean, only the future can tell, right? It's one of those things where just trying to hustle and grind every single day, creating the best content for all of you. That being said, I got to make some more content, so have yourself a wonderful day, and thank you again for watching. Peace out. Really hope that you enjoyed watching that video. I totally enjoyed making it. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like the video, share the video with everyone that you know, and subscribe to the channel as well. Totally appreciate all the support. We got a lot of cool things happening on the channel, so stay tuned for more. Be sure to check out the social links in the description. Thanks, and have yourself a great one.